Welcome to episode 72 of The Weekender. Wow, what a new intro.
I know, that's really cool.
Got a new background, got a new intro.
Same old people.
Stepping it up.
Hey, I gotta tell you a joke. So, and it's not really funny, but it's the pandemic. So I was talking to a friend of mine, an older individual, and he says, do you realize that wearing a mask now and sneezing is like crapping your pants? I said, now I do.
Now you do. Well, we definitely want to thank our sponsor.
Yeah, thinking of people that would say things like that.
Tom Shirt.
Tom Shirt.
Very cool. So what do we got to talk about today? We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
We do. We had another great week, another Friday to remember. We had Brownell's business planning class, which was very well received, and definitely everyone enjoyed it. And you could also take part online still.
Yeah.
Go to our YouTube channel.
It is recorded and on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/signature real estate group.
That's right. It's already February, so if your business plan isn't intact, go to that class. You did a great job of wrapping up what you should focus on. And also, Todd did a lead follow-up class that I thought was really good about how to prioritize your leads and keep them working in your CRM and all that good stuff.
And I missed that one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't recorded.
It wasn't, no.
And so that one didn't, because it was almost the same time, but
we can get him to teach it again.
We'll get him to teach
Sure.
it again. It'll get better and better.
The other thing that's happening tonight, Friday night, because you're looking for that thing to do to get
Sterling Club?
No, not tonight. But you're looking at that thing to get ready to do. Our Summerlin office is having a wine glass painting party for a select group of RSVPs. So if you're looking for that thing to do on a Friday night, go over and paint your wine glasses.
Yeah, they do that every year. That's one of the things that
How do you
Janet
paint
does.
it when you're drinking it? That's what I'm...
They have a straw right into the bottle. They paint the glass.
I believe it.
It works out. So.
I believe it. The other thing coming up next week, if you didn't take part, we're going to talk about it in a minute. LVR changed some of our forms to update them, and so we have a class in our office on Tuesday at 11:30 in our Green Valley office. If you're out there and you need an update on forms, feel free to reach out about it. And then that's on the 16th. And then on the 18th, if you're not having fun yet, we have a prelim class. And if you don't have class, you won't have a prelim. And you need to definitely attend that in our Summerlin office to talk about all of the things that are popping up now in these prelims that you need to be cognizant of. So good stuff there.
And watch our YouTube channel because a lot of this stuff is broadcast live as well or recorded and put up there. So, but surprise, there were new forms, right?
There were new forms. But wait a minute.
There's more.
But there's more. I have a special shout out I'd like to make. So this week is a special week in my household because it's actually my daughter Madison's and my daughter Amy, my wife Amy's birthdays, and my daughter Madison's on the 16th, and my wife is on the 18th. Yeah. And so they were actually going to be born birthday same day, but Amy decided she didn't want her to have that thing to be stuck on the same day as her mom, so she was induced, and so both of them are celebrating birthdays.
What are you doing?
I'm celebrating along with them.
What are you doing for Valentine's Day? You got a lot of celebrating to do this month.
I do, right?
Yeah.
What do you suggest? I mean, my wife probably isn't watching this right this second, and so I was trying to think, what should I do for the big V Day? What do you think? Flowers?
Well, since I'm single, you're asking the wrong guy. But maybe you guys could comment and help Chris figure out what to do. And keep in mind, he's waiting until the last minute, so he's not getting a reservation anywhere.
Well, that's hard because we would go out to dinner, but now luckily we could go out and take the entire group because before we had to pick which kid to take with us because we were only allowed
You take Madison, it's her birthday month.
Maybe. We'll see.
Very good.
All right, so a big announcement yesterday talking about reservations and going out. Did you hear the governor's announcement?
I did. I watched it. He opened some things up a little bit more, but it's not. We're not there yet.
So we were in planning, and then we were in phasing, and then we were in pausing. And so just like my VCR from 1995, they pushed play for a minute, and we're going to be moving out of the pause. And so on February 15th, they're going to move it to 35% occupancy, 100 people for events. And then on March 15th, they're going to move it to 50% occupancy for a place, and then 250 people for events. And we did that for a brief stint, and then it was too much. Remember that?
Yeah, what I'm excited about is it gives the Golden Knights the ability to submit a plan to actually up, I think it's 20% occupancy in that. So if they could submit a plan to the governor and get it approved, maybe we'll have some fans in the stadium soon.
I'm waiting for my cardboard cutout to come back.
You never go in. You've never been anyway.
Hey, this is something funny on that. Actually, the way it's all positioned, that on May 1st, if nothing else changes and we don't have any flare-ups or any major outbreaks, on May 1st, everything will go down to local government decisions and kind of a reopening of the state releasing some of that stuff back. So basically, it's been, what, 14, 15 months by May.
Yeah, light at the end of the tunnel.
Wow, crazy. They were talking about the vaccines yesterday, and in their announcement, they said that they've given out 307,000 of the first shots and 82,000 of the second shots, and you got to take one and then wait. I think it's 5 to 7 days.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
27
really?
days.
Wow.
You heard it from Tom's shirt.
There you go. So that's so far in the announcements. The other thing that's really important legislatively is that AB 106, which was the additional $50 million for small businesses, was fast-tracked. Did you know that they have fast track at the Carson City?
I didn't know they had fast track anywhere.
Well, they have it at Disneyland, and that's where you go up and get your ticket first, and then you show up at that time and fast track right through the ride. Why can't everything be fast tracked?
Why do you ask these tough questions?
I don't know. I mean, they got together for the $50 million and said, we know this matters, we know this is going to help people, and they fast tracked it, and there's so many other things that would help people.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Okay, rhetorical question, I guess. All right, what do you want to talk about?
I wanted to kind of bounce back to the forums a little bit. I don't want to do a class here and teach everyone what it is, but I think there's some things that we should point out.
So before we go there, most agents may not know, but they do update forms. It's a pretty regular occurrence, except it didn't regularly happen last year. It's kind of Tom's fault, but no, it's COVID that caused that. But they update them for what reasons?
Well, a lot of these changes were all done up last year, and then the release here is there. But laws change. Mm-hmm. Different things change. The way we do business changes. We also, as you're doing it, different practices and everything else. And just for instance, smart devices.
Yeah.
I mean, when they first wrote the RPA on Bedrock,
Stone tablets.
Stone tablets. You can find those down on Jones and Ed and Lee Barrett's office. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, things change. I mean, and now the RPA has gone from 10 pages to 11 pages. Yeah. But they're addressing the smart home devices, which was becoming a problem, and you have lawsuits and disputes and everything else after the closing. So that's good. They created an addendum for that, plus they put a little section in the RPA for it.
So the big thing we've been having problems with is when these go to be transferred, people aren't addressing the fact that the solar's owned or it's leased and the balance and what's going to happen to its terms. And so you have a FHA buyer that's going to buy their property and come to find out they got to qualify for this lease provision or financing, and it's actually caused some people not to qualify because of their debt to income ratio will change.
So those are big, but you also have the Ring doorbell, and they think the Ring doorbell's coming, and
you never know who's watching.
And the seller says, "Hey, that was mine," and it takes it out, or the Nest or whatever. So there's lots of stuff.
My nephew moved into a house. I don't know if he's watching, and that was probably one of the things that was the biggest pain, is that they transferred everything with it, but they didn't transfer the login for the Ring doorbell, and so he had to fight to get that done, and it was very strange.
Yeah, so if you weren't looking into that as you're selling property, now you'll have things on the RPA to help trigger the conversation. So hopefully that helps. They also updated the commission agreement for the for sale by owners, which is important.
Woo!
Yeah. I think they added a blank in there so that you could put a flat fee or a commission amount.
Oh, thank God.
Not a big change.
I'm tired of handwriting that stuff in.
And they made an adjustment to the mediation section of that, which they did on, it looks like on a lot of forums. So that would lead me to believe that something's changed regarding mediation.
Well, the mediation process at LVR has changed completely, and we used to mediate public-to-public disputes,
right?
And they've now changed that, so they had to update those forms. That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they don't even do earnest money disputes.
They don't. And what people don't know is that, like, state division forms, like the SRPD, the duties owed, how we got that extra line in there thanks to Neil Schwartz to be able to write your full name and date. Those have to be changed through the legislature. So you can't just go to a committee meeting and say, hey, I don't like this. They got to go all the way through Carson City, fast track. And so when it's the local board forms, it's all you really do is have to bring it up. I mean, I've seen things and just brought it up in a meeting and they fixed it right away.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is just know there is a forms committee, and if you do have issues with any of the forms clauses, different things like that, you can submit that information to the board and they will look at it.
That's cool.
Doesn't mean they'll change it for you, but we'll look at it.
The big thing they also added was the the new clauses for, I'm going to draw a blank on it, but the
VA and FHA.
Yeah, the VA and FHA clauses. They said actually in here escape clauses, and I think it's the mandatory would have been the word I'd gone with,
Yeah,
but I get what they
they
mean.
actually named it the escape clause.
Yeah.
Section 26, HUD VA FHA escape clause, and I think that
Feel good about that one.
Yeah, that has to do with the mandatory clause addendum that everyone has to sign
Yeah.
after the fact, right? So you're just agreeing to it in your RPA before you have to sign the addendum.
Makes
So,
sense.
I-
The other thing I noticed on here is they updated the vacant land purchase agreement, which remember the last date of the update to that was the walkthrough provision, so you didn't have to have one. This real life stories, folks. Real
It's
stuff
true.
that's happened. All right, let's talk about the big news. So everyone's been talking about the acquisition of CoreLogic. Remember that happened about a week
Nobody's
ago?
talking about that.
Oh my goodness. And so
They should have been talking about that,
Yeah.
but no, they're really talking about the acquisition of Showing Time,
showing time.
right?
So what's funny is when we rolled out showing time at the association, I don't know what, it's been 4 or 5 years
5
now.
years.
The adoption rate was extremely low. Like I felt that it was very easy to use, and you just schedule an appointment. That's really what it is. It's a scheduler. I mean, my calendar does the same thing. It tries to coordinate with you, right? And no one used it. And then they were all upset about it, so we did some more training. No one used it. And so now everyone is upset and up in arms and upset that it's come out and it's been bought, but still we have a
You
very
know
low
why?
adoption rate.
No, you know why? Because people are starting to use it.
Yeah.
You know, no, I think it's because of whoever purchased it. And just let me preface this by saying I'm not
Not at
representing
all.
the board in this discussion. This is Brandon Roberts' personal opinion of Signature Real Estate, and that's that. But when that was announced, there was a lot of people that were pretty freaked out.
Yeah.
And I just really don't.
Do you notice that with every announcement though? Doesn't matter what it is, what it has, there's a group that's pretty freaked out.
The McRib is there.
The McRib is back.
Yeah. Oh my God!
I'm so excited.
McDonald's will put me out of business.
Right? No, but in looking at that, it's like there's contracts that are
Yes.
signed, right?
Yeah.
And Showing Time has got contracts with multiple brokerages, companies, boards, everything across the country. And just because somebody buys a contract or buys a company does not mean those contracts go away
Sure.
or change. So there's certain obligations for boards, there's certain obligations for Showing Time and the people that purchase them.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, and a lot of that has to do with the privacy and all that stuff. So it's not like all of a sudden the world comes to an end and the world changes.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, any good business owner, any board, or anything else is going to review contracts as they come up for expiration.
And we do that here locally on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
We look at what's going on with them and where
So
they're
look
at.
if it's still the best service for you, if there's something better out there, because technology is always changing.
That it is.
And some companies are updating and growing, and some are
Some
not.
fast track.
Right? Some fast track, like Carson City. So I would venture to say that it'll be looked at, and
Yeah.
decisions will be made that work. But I wouldn't freak out like all of a sudden some company's got all your data now, and the world's going to change.
Here's what I do believe. I mean, this is just intelligent purchasing on Zillow's part because that's who the parent company is that bought it, is that what it does provide that's pretty interesting to me is analytical data on showing trends. And that's why we as an association looked at that was we wanted to kind of look at their heat maps of activity that were going on in neighborhoods. Like, you know, if my listing down on 123 Main Street has not been shown, but the listing 3 streets over has been shown every day, the system would say this property is being shown. And that would tell me that, you know, in that area, and that was the goal at the end of the day was to be able to provide those analytics of what trends are happening. Is it doing that because of the price? Is it because it's located
But
something?
the only way that works is you get massive adoption, right? And we
Yep.
never really reached
Never did.
that, so that value isn't there. To me, I'm looking at going, why would a company purchase something like that? And and I don't believe Zillow or they're out to put realtors out of business. I think they're looking at a better experience for the consumer.
Sure.
Creating a better service or a process for them to go through.
Yeah.
And automating it with technology.
And I
Now,
think the analytics would provide that. I mean,
would
they could tell where people are
it
trending.
would totally, but they can also on their sites could set up showings, buyers could set up showings, all that stuff. So it could be a process and an experience. But we, as realtors in the real estate industry, really should stop thinking that, well, people want to deal with people.
Yeah.
People want a good experience and it done right,
Yeah.
right? And so if we want to compete, it's delivering a better experience.
Agreed.
Paying attention to your consumer, understanding the market, knowing your stats, not having to wait on showing time to tell you nobody's showing your house.
Yeah.
You should know that,
Yeah.
right? You should get feedback from agents. Be involved in the industry, and you will become an asset to the consumer rather than just
So at the end of the day,
order taker.
what you said though I like, because even when Showing Time said, yeah, it's okay, and you see that it's vacant, it's on a lockbox, I still opened every door and said, hello, realtor, because I've been surprised.
I have
right?
too.
And never pleasantly. But
When you
I'm just
say
saying,
that, you hear
yeah, exactly.
them running out the back door.
I found a dead snake in a house one time when I opened it up.
Really?
Yeah, it was in the living room, and I opened that door, and that decomposing snake hit you. We did not.
In the dead of the heat.
We did not tour that property any further, Showing Time or not. So.
Right. So,
Yeah.
and you know, I did find some software this week. I looked high and low to try to find something that would be a replacement for Showing Time for
Yeah.
our agents and stuff. And I discovered
So they don't use it?
there's text message on your phone. And so you still do not have to call the other realtor. You can actually just text them and get that information too.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding, because it is a good service. It did make it more convenient for people.
But you know, I think while we're on this conversation, while we're wrapping up on it, I think one of the interesting things is if it was really about world domination and takeover, there's a lot of faster ways that could have happened in the last 2 or 3 months that would have been faster to conquer the industry than $500 million for a viewing system.
What, besides releasing COVID on the...
Well, the conspiracies that are out there are just
I know,
crazy, right? But anyway, so the whole point is when you work hard at your business, it works hard for you. And so hopefully nothing, no app, no website, no weird thing puts you out of business if you're connected.
If one app or one website puts you out of business, you were doing it wrong.
And if you're doing it wrong, give us a call. We have a great coaching program we'd like to talk to you about. And shameless plug.
And everyone that signs up gets a free picture with Tom on his
sure.
shirt.
Not even with Tom, just with the shirt. We keep it on display.
Oh, too fun.
Too fun.
What else we got on this list here?
That's it. Another great week. If we don't get to see you, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Singles Day, Happy Valentine's, the Devil's Holiday, whatever you want to call it. We'll see you next week.
It's an expensive holiday.
I feel the change coming, it's closer every day. I feel the waters rising.